Hello everybody, Mr. Meme here, and welcome back to Minecraft Back to the Roots. Yeah, I've finally decided upon a name for my new series. I was actually talking to a friend about the kind of idea, what I was trying to do, and it's not really back to the roots, but I mean, I'm trying to do it like a tribute to the old video style that back then. What the fuck? Hold on, I have to. Yeah, all of these resource packs. Yeah. I have to quickly fix the music problem because I really do not like the new music. Old music is always superior, especially from C418. No, but where was I? Yes. Deciding on a name for my series, and I decided on Back to the Roots simply because I think doing a homage to how YouTubers did their videos back then, especially trying to create it in a way that it's like the YouTubers I had gotten used to and that I had gotten to know. There were quite a few that actually did videos just in this style, uncut, just recording, talking about stuff. And I think if I orient myself on that, it's gonna I'm gonna do quite well. Now, first things first, I'm going to say I'm impressed that despite my channel not really being oh shit, that my channel isn't actually very in known yet. I've already had a person comment. I'm actually impressed, and I have noticed that my mouse keeps just stopping to work. Maybe one of you guys is able to tell me what the hell is going on because it's getting on my nerves lately. And there it is. See? It just stops moving. Maybe I have to check the cable. I don't know. I'll do it probably after the video because I don't want to stop recording right now. It look pretty weird if I start off somewhere else. I also prefer to just keep this world just for making videos, such as this one, because in my opinion, if you start a world, doing something off camera is always a bit fishy, at least in my opinion. I don't know about you, but it really is somewhat fishy if somebody says, "Yeah, I did that and that outside of making the video," and then they suddenly build like I don't know the Empire State Building in Minecraft, even though there were I think like I guess leather tools of course, leather armor and stone tools before, and now they have full netherite and bullshit. I don't like that kind of stuff. What the hell is that? What is that? What is that skeleton? Ah! Dude. Well, yeah. You creepers ain't gonna get me away. Fine. You're not gonna get me again. The thing is, I am not even quite sure what I really want to achieve. I mean, in the last video I said that I have a lot of ideas for this, but the thing is, I'm trying to find something to talk about every single time. So I would really appreciate it if you would give me topics that I could talk about in my videos. I'm trying to limit the topics that I can actually talk about because I really do not want to get political in my videos, especially uh, thinking about the fact that many people can get offended by that. So please do not suggest political topics if you do. Unless it's of course something relevant that I maybe should address, but I'll only consider it when it's really necessary, I think. Otherwise, I'm Not quite sure actually what I'm supposed to tell. Maybe a few stories of mine. Uh, yeah, I mean, everybody had. Yeah, actually, I got a few stories that I could talk about in this video. I'm actually going to refer to my own school time. I actually graduated like a year ago now, and we had a 10th grade class trip to some fun time park where we had our own houses and we could chill together and all of that kind of shit. And I was together with two guys on one house, and they were, let's call them unorganized. Actually, no, I'm not gonna put it lightly. They were fucking pigs. It was it was really hard to keep up with all of the stuff that they were doing. As an example, one day we went out to buy some groceries, and from those groceries I had bought a cucumber, some bell peppers, everything that one might need because we wanted to make wraps. You know, I was gonna prepare some tzatziki. I was gonna cut up some stuff. We were gonna fry some meat and put it in there, and then we were gonna eat it. Well, long story short, one of the guys comes up to me and says, "Dude, what are you doing? Vegetables belong in the fridge." And I looked at him and I was like, "No, vegetables do not belong in the fridge. Why would they belong in the fridge?" So we started arguing about where actually this belongs, and eventually I just gave up and I said, "You know what? Do what you want. I don't give a shit." And I let him put the bell peppers and stuff into the fridge. Now, what he didn't realize, and neither did I, was that the fridge, it was set to, you have like these cooling levels at the top where you can spin like a little wheel and you change the cooling level. Well, the fridge that we had was set to level 7, so it was like a freezer more than a fridge. Next day I wake up and I go to prepare the tzatziki because if it really gets all the flavor of the stuff I put in, then it tastes the best. And I want to go and grab a cucumber to slice half of it up for the tzatziki, and what do I notice? It's rock hard. Like it was almost as if it was just a stick of cucumber. And not just the stick of cucumber, but also the bell peppers. They were absolutely horrendous. So I went into his room, like I bursted open the door. I almost kicked it down, and he woke up and he was like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?" And I just looked at him and was like, "How about we do not put shit in the fridge again?" He looks at me and is like, "What is it? Do you still want to argue about this?" And I grabbed the cucumber that I had in my backhand, and I just hit him with it. And I tell him, "Here, look at this shit. See what you did?" And he looks at me like, "What the hell happened to this?" Because the outside was squishy and soft because it didn't freeze all the way through, and the inside was, well, I guess completely. Hold on. Yeah. Well, this is awkward. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to mute myself. Hold on. Alright, that was awkward. Sorry again. I really don't like having to wait all the time out. Especially when the fact is that I'm talking about what I'm gonna get to eat. Because, frankly, they just came in and they were like, yeah, what are we gonna eat? Um, yeah. Sorry about that. I really didn't want to just interrupt the recording. At least not in this way. Either way, I was talking about the story, exactly. Yeah, well, I kind of just looked at him when he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I told him that I really just looked at him and I gave him the like, "I told you." And he looked at me and was completely confused. So I told him again, dude, you do not put vegetables in the fridge, especially not cucumbers. The thing is, the core was so frozen that when I whacked him with the cucumber, what happened is that the cucumber broke and some sort of water started leaking out onto his clothes and his bed sheet, and he started getting super angry. And then the other friend of mine, who was like almost a total neckbeard, it was crazy living with this guy. He came out and started filming what I was doing. And the recording is actually quite hilarious. I still have it on my phone to this day. But there's also a few other things, such as that we didn't have enough toilet paper. Now imagine sitting on the toilet and not having enough paper, so you kind of cannot leave and have to ask the others, but you also do not want to because that's kind of embarrassing. So this guy on the toilet, it's also the guy I confronted about the cucumber and the bell pepper. He kind of stumbled out of the toilet, pants down, not really giving a shit about the fact that my colleague and I were gonna see him completely exposed under his belt. And he just started shouting around, I need toilet paper. So I told him like, dude, go to the fucking bathroom. Nobody wants to see that. And he kept like shouting around, then give me toilet paper, then give me toilet paper. And I told him like, yeah, okay, okay, we're gonna get you some toilet paper. Then my neckbeard nest friend takes me aside and he just, I suppose he gives me the most devilish idea you could have thought about. Now, with wraps you usually use tortilla. And we still had some left over because we didn't have enough vegetables and meat to fill all of them because of course reasons. And he told me, you know what? Here you have a toilet paper made from wheat flour, I guess, and I don't know what other kind of shit he told me. And I told him like, you know what? That's, oh, for God's sake. And that was kind of the greatest idea I could have thought about. And I just looked at him and asked him if he thought the same thing I was thinking. So he grabbed the tortilla and he just kind of opened the door from outside. The lock was really kind of fucking bad, because you could open the door while it's locked from the outside. It was like a flathead screw. You could just use a spoon and turn it open, and just could open the door. So he did, and the guy at first shouted on like, "What the fuck are you giving me here?" And then you just saw him peek through the kind of split that my friend opened the door, and he just kind of threw the tortilla at him. it, it's not as funny as I thought about, but it was kind of hilarious when you were in that situation. Oh god, not a water cave. Like, God, I hate these caves. Old caves are better. But that was one of the many stories. We were also in the Netherlands and in Amsterdam. And you've got to imagine, when we were there, we were like 16, 15. I mean, it's 10th grade, you know? And we are in the Netherlands, and our teachers explicitly told us we will not be able to buy any weed there, and we're not going to be smoking it if we do. What does my neckbeard friend do? He heads to a coffee shop right around the goddamn corner, and you really smelled the pot. Like, the dope smell, it was really difficult not to smell. Even if you barely smelled anything, you could smell the pot. So he heads in there, and the guy just looks at him, and I kind of followed along, and he just looks at him and me, and he goes like, "Yeah, what do you guys want?" And I kind of just take a step back, and I want to just kind of put my hand on his chest and tell him like, "Bro, this is wrong." What does he do? He really doubles down and just exclaims, "I want pot brownies." So the kind of seller just looks at us and he goes like, "Yeah, okay, it's like, I don't know, that much money." I don't remember. It was like, I think 20 euros for like 6 brownies. And he just straight up buys them and chows down 2 of them. And you know, brownies, I think they hit a bit slower. And you gotta imagine the guy just walks around, nothing happening, and he complains about it. So I tell him like, "Dude, they have kind of just, I don't know how you call it right now, for God's sake. Um no, they have like the time window before they actually start to kick in." And he just didn't believe me and chowed down even fucking more of those. Like, there was one left for when he went to go back home. And in the middle of the goddamn store where we were, I was gonna buy myself Tears of the Kingdom because it was cheaper than where I came from. And he just started to get the biggest fucking kick I have ever seen in my goddamn life. Like, that guy, if I didn't catch him, he probably had fallen over and he just started. It was really funny. And the teachers obviously noticed that the guy was fucking zooted. So they just went around and were like, "Dude, did you see what he did?" And I kind of just I followed the kind of friend thingy that you do not snitch on others. So I said, "Nah, I was in the game store when something happened." And they were talking to me for like a good 20 minutes about if I had seen him do anything. And I always said, so no, no, I didn't. And eventually, one of the teachers just kind of decides that I'm lying, and he tries to get me expelled. So I'm starting to get really pissed by that, because back then my teachers were really just dicks. Like, they hated their jobs so much. I'm gonna talk about that in a few moments because I have a great story. Well, the ending is not going to be that great, but I really didn't like the teacher. Either way, they were trying to get me and him him and me expelled, and we were just heading back on the bus, riding through the fucking Netherlands while my teacher is still interrogating me, and he repeatedly tries to talk to my zooted classmate, and he just kind of sits there and stares at him. Like my teacher keeps asking, reply, come on, tell me something. I am not going to be mad, blah blah blah. The kind of bullshit that you would do usually as a teacher. And my guy he just looks at him. He doesn't say anything, he just looks at him. He just stares him down. And eventually I just noticed that he had this completely I almost I could almost say he wasn't really scared or anything. He just stared at him as if he'd seen a ghost or something. Or like he'd seen Jesus Christ in person or so. It was really funny because when I noticed that the teacher looked at me and he went completely weirded out, and I was just giggling to myself looking at my friend, and it just really got super complicated at the end. And this is the kind of experience I had in the Netherlands. It was actually quite nice. I ate some fries there with some curry sausage. I think it's something German that they had in the Netherlands, the curry sausage. I mean, that's how you translate it. Where I'm living right now, it's actually quite fine, I guess. But you have to imagine that this sausage, it's often just, I guess, there's something called curry ketchup where I live, and they just try to Jesus Christ, they try to stretch it out with normal ketchup or water, so it tastes like fucking dog shit. And you gotta imagine that when I was in the Netherlands, I ate something that was really real curry, and that shit was hitting so hard. I was chowing down on that. Jesus, you can't even imagine how delicious that was. Of course, I'm always told Belgian fries are by far the best, and when I get the opportunity to, I'm definitely going to eat some of them. I heard they kind of fry them in pig fat or so, which sounds fucking delicious, dude. Like, holy damn. And yeah. Now to the teacher I was talking about, there was oh jeez, my goddamn mouse isn't working. I'm gonna have to check that after the video. Basically, after the class trip, we were back in school, blah blah blah, preparing for our final exams for graduation, and I was something that's like, I guess, the what you call it, a school representative. I was, or no, the students representative. I was more of a person that students could hit up on and be like, yeah, blah blah blah. There's problems we have. Could you talk to the principal about this? And oh god, I could talk even more about the principal in our school. It was terrible. Either way, I was sitting on how am I supposed to explain this? Basically, our school had some sort of like big damn room with a show stage and all of that stuff. And there was like something like an overhang where you could like sit up and look down onto the show stage too, and there was also the teachers lounge there. So I'm sitting on top of that because student representative used to just sit there and, I guess, talk to each other while we were waiting for something to happen. Most of the times, me and a colleague from a different class, we just played chess the whole time because it was hilariously fun. Especially when I always set him checkmate in like 3 to 4 moves because he didn't actually get to understand my whole motive. Eventually he did. I'm still questioning how he didn't most of the time. But he got quite better right now. He has like I think it's 1100 elo, so that's an improvement from 500. Haha. No, but The teacher, she was very old. Like, she was really goddamn old. Some of the teachers, in a sarcastic tone, called her a T-Rex, and she was like the most ultra feministic piece of dog shit I have ever seen be alive as a teacher. Now, I really do not like to hate on dead people because shortly before I attended high school, there's like three different school types, and when you go to do like 3 more years at high school, you have to do the exam and blah blah blah. And shortly before I actually entered high school as a freshman, they she just died. So we had Microsoft Teams and we were just looking around on it. I was talking to others. My access has been cut off, of course, because I'm on a different school now. But you can kind of imagine the fact that I read this, and at first I was like, oh damn, well, that's what she gets. Now, of course, without context, that sounds extremely offensive, but just let me explain. The teacher once we had iPads on our school. Like we got city issued iPads, blah blah blah, all of that kind of stuff. It was, I guess, for modernization and stuff, it was highly advanced in where my city. But let me just tell you, it really wasn't. The iPads were laggy and quite old, so it didn't really matter. But either way, I was just chatting with somebody when there was an announcement actually made on Microsoft Teams. I looked at it and I was like, bro, dude, she died. And my colleague didn't want to believe it, so I sent him a screenshot of it and he checked it out himself. And for some reason, I was actually quite relieved because she really made the life of a lot of students hell. Now, back to what I was talking about, the iPad incident, I call it. Basically, she once dropped her iPad on the floor and she started shouting out about how fucking terrible her day was. I, as a normal student, went to go help her pick it up because she was fucking old. And she started cussing me out and yelling at me because I'm a man and I should be dead and shit. So I just looked at her in pure disgust and asked her what the hell is wrong with her. And she just started to cuss me out even more. And then there was my English teacher. I love this man, really. That dude, I wish I could name him, but I chose not to name any people simply because if they ever watch these videos, they probably know who I'm talking about. But that man, he really was, I think, the best teacher I have ever had in my entire goddamn life. Like, that dude was straight up the best teacher. None could argue, simply because he was sarcasm in person. We had a joke amongst each other simply because we got along so well that the students from foreign countries could not understand us because we were speaking sarcasm. And they often acted as if they really didn't understand us, even though sometimes actually did. And we made a lot of jokes, really. We didn't really bother about anybody shouting or cussing us out about, this is politically incorrect, blah, blah, blah. It was really fun. And like the teacher, he just came along and he told me, nah, bro, just don't bother. And then he explained to me that she was like an ultra feminist and she hated all men and blah blah blah. And even the men she got along with, she still insulted on a daily basis, even her colleagues. And I asked him how that was even acceptable, especially in a school. And he was like, yeah, the principal, she kind of is just onto that kind of stuff and she doesn't really care. So to cut off the political part, she died, and my friend, he was like celebrating it really. And I cannot stress it enough. I really do not wish anybody death because death is something disgustingly bad. I myself have a big fear of death simply because I do not know what comes after. Well, the Minecraft music really hits right now. But yeah, at this point I guess I had some kind of out of body experience because I just snapped into some sort of vegetative state. I read the thing again and again and again, and it didn't make sense. I was like, but she was alive like a few days ago. Like, I talked to her. It was so weird. Like, I can't imagine how terrible it must have been for her kids, let's say, because her husband was dead already, I believe. I can only assume, if she even had a husband. And yeah, it kind of just struck me at a weird time because I was preparing to go to a new school, and I just read that a teacher that I talked to a few days just kind of died. I don't know how you would feel if you read that a teacher of yours just kind of dies, but hold on. Yeah, I really sorry for that even. Yeah, my girlfriend just came in and she asked me if I wanted to eat something again. This time it wasn't my parents, of course. No, but I don't know how you guys would feel if you would get that kind of a message like a day or two after. And I don't know why. I really didn't like the teacher, but it still hit me. I mean, I didn't have any good experiences with her either. She was genuinely one of the most... Oh, jeez, that looks weird. She was generally one of the most dislikable persons. Jesus Christ, my English. She was definitely one of the most unlikable people in the entire school. Like, as 10th graders at that time, we had a lot of opinions because we were like 6 years at that school. And I can only say from experience that having to leave all of that behind 6 years of your life really feels like you've either been robbed of these 6 years or you've had a great time. Going by what I heard from all the students that left, most of them kind of agreed that it wasn't a good time, especially because of Corona. And yeah, even I just cannot get over it. Now that I'm talking about it, it probably helps me a bit. But I really want to know from potential viewers, if you ever see this video, how would you react? Do you think it would take you as much as it did me? Because I mean, it didn't really take me much because I have completely gotten over it by now. I had never really done anything with that person. Like, I can't bother to imagine how goddamn terrible this has had to been. Because especially the English teacher I mentioned, he was really tightly befriended with her, and I spoke to him just a few days ago. And I was scrolling through messages. We were talking quite a lot actually. Of course, that was the kind of sarcastic, yeah, all my students are stupid and stuff, which it's typical for him. I just got to know him like that, and it kind of just it's kind of just sad. Yeah, I don't know. It I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, it's up to everybody who is watching the video right now to really decide what they would do or not potentially because it's a sensitive topic. I would understand if people just went like, I don't want to think about that kind of stuff. And that's totally fine. I'm not judging anybody for that. Oh, I didn't even see that because it was hidden under snow. But yeah, it it really bothers me sometimes because as a person who's afraid of death, I really want to get to know how people actually try to get over it, especially when like a loved one dies. I'm not saying that I'm hit hard by it, but as a kid, I lost my grandpa quite early on in life, and my mother and stuff. I lost quite a lot and very early on in life, and it kind of just scarred me. But I mean, everybody learns to deal with that stuff in other ways. I learned to deal with it by becoming an addict to gaming. I mean, that's how I found out about Minecraft. But it really, I don't know, just feels kind of odd. Either way, um, yeah. Again, if you back to another topic, if you guys have any, really any kind of topic that you'd like me to talk about or give my opinion about, I would so gladly like to read them in the comments. It would really make my day to see that there is engagement on my videos. I mean, it's probably going to be a bit different to actually start it off, especially with me being in school and all of that stuff. And I'm not really trying to do this because, yeah, I saw success and blah blah blah. I really do not want that. I want to have like a small kind of community that I can talk to every now and then. What the hell? That is so weird. I have never seen that in my life. What the fuck is happening? Hold on. Frozen ocean? Snow. Oh! Oh! It's a biome change. Oh, that's different. Is it because I put torches there? Hmm. Sorry, I got off topic. Yeah, I would gladly like to hear from you guys, and I want this to be more of a nice community that we can really be one in the kind of that sounds so wrong. Being one. No, I just really want to have a small community that I can talk to that could help me get through difficult times and all that kind of stuff. And I really want to have some people at least with me in this community that could, let's say, they really engage in conversations with me. They try to give me advice on how to do things. While of course I can give other stuff back, I mean, I'm also just a human. That's also the premise I am doing these videos on. So, yeah, I would really like if any of you had the intention of, let's say, coming to me and asking for advice. I mean, my comment section is always open for helping with advice. You could always just hit me up, ask me a small question like how can I solve that and that, and I'll probably hit you up in private because I do not want to do this in public, especially if it's a very sensitive topic. So you can just, I suppose, give me like your Discord information. Of course, I'm a scammer now. No, you could give me your Discord tag, and I'll add you, and I'll hit you up there. Or I don't know, you add me on Steam or so. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so I'm gonna end the video right now. I hope you return in the next day for another part of Back to the Roots, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.